shelter from life's storm. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storm.
Thank you.
I can't find the. It's like. Sherry is here. Oh yeah, she did have some.
All right, whenever you're ready, boss. Your rabbi's looking up for
Share
Shabbat Shalom, friends. Good to see you all. Thanks to Cole Rena for sharing their beautiful music with us as always. So much to celebrate this weekend. We're celebrating with Bria and her family as Bria's called to the Torah as a bat mitzvah this weekend. And so glad to have 7th and 8th graders from Beth Am and Los Altos Hills, California here. They're visiting the city, and their youth advisor grew up at Shari Tefillah. And so when they were thinking about where they were going to come to Shabbat services, they had to come here. And Los Altos Hills, Beth Am is where Rabbi Reuben grew up. So she was, a youth grouper at Beth Am. So there's like so many connections here. It's wonderful to have you here. And thank you for making this part of your visit here in New York City. We are grateful to be together this evening, and we're observing Reproductive Justice Shabbat. I want to thank Michelle Sharandi, who is a leader of our efforts. In addition to being a member of the Board of Trustees, she has really been a driving force in our efforts and connected us with our speaker this evening. Additionally, we're dedicating this service to the memory of our friend, Lois Nyron, who was president of our congregation and a longtime leader in our congregation in the Reform movement. And additionally, she was passionate about this issue. In particular, she and Michelle worked together for many years on this issue. So we think of her. Her memory is an enduring blessing. We hold her in this space always, and especially this evening.
A prayer for Repro Shabbat. God of our ancestors, Elohei, Imotenu, Va'avotenu, we affirm that you have created each of us in your sacred image, endowed with the inherent right to dignity and autonomy. We ask that you guide us towards a caring and loving community and nation that reveres this dignity in each of us. We affirm that reproductive freedom, the sacred right to own the personhood of one's own body, is a fundamental part of the just society for which we strive in your name. We ask that you endow us with the strength and resolve we need, because the path that lies ahead is challenging, and we all need resilience, strength, and courage. We ask that you protect the most impacted and marginalized among us, because it is they who are most at risk. We do this work in your name, O God, because we are the compassionate, loving creations of a compassionate, loving, and just God. It is holy, sacred work. May our country become a place of liberty and justice for all, and may our care for one another include care and respect for each other's rights to good and affordable health care, including abortion care, and the right to live safely and securely as we each follow our path of conscience and the God we each do or do not believe in. And together we say, Amen. I would like to invite up Bria Gladstone, our bat mitzvah this weekend, and her mom, Amy Gladstone, and her uncle, Matthew Steinberg, to help us with blessing the candles.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who kindled light, so may we, in our own way, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kirishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu v'hadlik ner shel
the heavens and the earth were finished and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it, God ceased from all the work of creation that day God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodesh be'ahava uvrotzon, hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereishi. Ki hu yom tehila lemikra e kodesh zeher litzia mitzrayim ki vanu v'hata v'tzanu idashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat L'chaim. I was supposed to say it, right? Okay.
That was awesome. Great job. Really good. Did you guys decide which verses I forgot out here? We continue now with welcoming Shabbat, with Kabbalat Shabbat. We'll sing with Lacha Dodi. Everyone join in and sing along. Lacha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Lacha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. La 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 Lacha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Shamot v'zachot v'dibor echad, Ishmi'anu el hameyukad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad. L'shem u'tiferet v'litila, la 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 la, Lecha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor haberacha, mirosh mikedem nisucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat tchila. La 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 Lecha Dodi, Likrat Likrat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Likrat Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. La 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 Lecha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance to our sanctuary as together we welcome Shabbat.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam besimcha u'betzola, toch emunei am segula. Boi kala, boi kala. Lecha Dodi, Likra Likra Kala, Pene Pene Shabbat Nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala B'nei Pnei Shabbat likrat la 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 lecha dodi likrat likrat kala B'nei Pnei Shabbat likrat la Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala B'nei Pnei Shabbat likrat la.
Turn to the people around you, greet them, say Shabbat Shalom, maybe meet someone new.
You able to raise that up any higher?
Have the words right here. All right, you're gonna face this way.
Wait, where's the music? Oh.
Okay.
I'm singing just the song, right? Okay.
We invite you to rise once again for the Baruch Hu.
Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalla-lai-lai-lai, 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 yalla-lai-lai-lai. Barehu et Adonai HaMevorah. Baruch Adonai HaMevorah le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Yalla-lai-lai-lai, 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 yalla-lai-lai-lai.
Great job. You may be seated. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol meodecha ve'hayu hadevarim ha'ele Asher Anochi Mitzavecha Hayom Al Levavecha Vishinantam Levanecha V'dibarta Bam Bishivtecha Bebetecha Uvlechtecha Vaderech Uvshokbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Leot Al Yadecha Behayuletotafot Beinenecha Uktavtam Amezuzot Beitecha Uvisharecha Leman Tizkeru Basitem et kol mitzvotai Vitem kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem Elohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
A poem by Richard Schwartz, who writes, "They stood before a swamp of reeds, a Yam Suf, a sea of dead endings. Terrified by the Egyptians in pursuit, they cried out, 'Why me?' And Moses commanded them to be still. Stretching forth his hand, God opened their hearts. Enter now into new realms of being. And we, swamped by what we think is wrong with the world, meet deadlines with smug satisfaction, trudge in the mud of limited mind, or wallow in woulda, coulda, shouldas. We too are called upon to be still, just long enough to witness nothing, just long enough to be birthed into new and remembered worlds of joy and freedom. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea."
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught. Before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it's eternally Egypt. That there's a better place, a promised land, and the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together, singing ya ya la 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 la, ya ya la 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 ya la la, ya la la ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, norati lo tosef peleh, norati lo tosef peleh. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze'eli, anu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, le'olam va'ed. Singing ya ya la 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 la, ya ya la 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 ya la la, ya la la ya la 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 la. Ya ya la 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 la. V'nemar ki fadar na et Yaakov וגלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גל ישראל.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be a shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be a shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu, Adonai Eloheinu, Hashkiveinu, L'Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be a shelter from life's storms. Hashkiveinu,
Hashkiveinu
Adonai Eloheinu,
Eloheinu
Hashkiveinu, L'Shalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be a shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be a shelter from life's storms.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, Bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Maybe your week was perfect exactly as it is. Everything went exactly as you planned. The flights from California were right on time. All the things were great. You just feel great, and it's easy to just praise because everything is perfect in your life. It's possible. That could happen. And you come to services and you open your mouth and it just flows. And maybe it was a harder week. Maybe things didn't go as planned. Maybe the flight got delayed, or maybe you had a disagreement with someone that you love. And you came to services and it sometimes feels harder to praise. It's harder to open your mouth and praise. Our tradition gives us this moment of prayer as we begin tefillah. Adonai sfatai tiftach. God, help me open my mouth that I may praise, because sometimes praise comes easily, sometimes not so much, and in any case, we do it anyway. So we invite you please to rise for tefillah. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Adonai sfatai tiftach. Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Ufi yagi tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Ha'akol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'Nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer, Umoshia Umagen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye Hakol. Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv Haruach Umorid Hagashem. Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Hakol Berachamim Rabim. Somech Noflim Berofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar. Micha mocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech meimit umechaye, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman ata lachayot hakol. Baruch ata Adonai, Mechaye akol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh. Ukdoshim b'chol yom yehallelu Selah. Baruch ata Adonai ha'el akadosh.
You may be seated. I'm guessing that there are very few of us in this sanctuary right now who had the perfect week that Rabbi Mosbacher was talking about. But if you did, I'm so happy for you. And if you didn't, like many of us, we're going through day after day, we're figuring it out as we go. We so badly want to ask God for things. We want to ask God to help us fix the things in our life. This is Reproach Shabbat. We want to ask God to give us the strength to fight for reproductive rights. And yet, the rabbis teach us that on Shabbat, we don't ask for anything. So, this moment that we have for silent prayer, if you want to ask for something, I'm not going to know about it. But feel free to think of something you're grateful for, something you want to thank God for in this moment. Put all of those other things, the mundane, aside. Think about what are these words of praise, what are these words of thanksgiving that you want to say on this Shabbat. We'll have a couple of moments in silence.
piece, by the way, was written by Sydney McKaylee, or it used to be Sydney Lazar, our previous cantorial intern. She wrote that beautiful piece.
It's so good to be in community. We rejoice together, celebrate all kinds of good things together. We bring strength to one another when things are challenging. And in this moment in our service, we think of those in our circle of family and friends who are in need of healing, healing of body, healing of spirit. We ask God to bring healing to them if healing is possible, and strength from the strength of this community to face whatever comes. So we have here listed members of our congregational family we know we're praying for. If there are others that you're praying for who you'd like to mention their names aloud, or perhaps they're on this list and you just want to mention their names aloud, we invite you to do that at this time. For those we've mentioned aloud, for those we hold in our hearts, for those who are struggling with addiction and those in recovery, for all of them we ask God to bless them as we pray the words that Moses prayed when his sister was ill in the Bible. God, please heal them all.
Dear God of our ancestors,
Dear God of our ancestors,
help us renew our faith.
help us renew our faith.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Grant us a perfect healing.
Bring peace to all our days.
Bring peace to all our days.
Restore our strength of body.
Restore our strength of body.
Help clarify our minds.
Help clarify our minds.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Refresh our tired spirits.
Rejuvenate our light.
Rejuvenate our lives.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Thank you for all these blessings.
Throughout our days and nights.
Throughout our days and nights.
We celebrate the journey.
We celebrate the journey.
This precious gift of life.
This precious gift of life.
Speaking of the blessings in our lives, over this, we love to, on Shabbat, to celebrate all of the smachot, the happy occasions in everyone's lives over the past week, or maybe you haven't been here in a month, so you have something that you want to celebrate from the past month. Of course, we have something very special that we're celebrating tomorrow, Bria's bat mitzvah. Do we have other smachot that we are celebrating in this community? Anyone want to share? Yes, Bernice. Wow, mazel tov. Bernice's third great-grandchild was born. That is definitely a simcha. Yes, Bill? You're here. Bill is with us tonight. That is wonderful news. That is definitely a simcha. Thank you for joining us, and go Blue Devils. Anyone else? Are we celebrating any other smachot? We have a lot of people here tonight. I'm sure we are. Yes. Amazing. When is your birthday, Marjorie? Yesterday. Okay, Marjorie's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday. Incredible. One more simcha. Yes.
Yeah, it was my best friend's birthday. All I wanted to really do, and the only reason why I came there was for him to be happy and for him to have fun. I just really hope he enjoys it.
That's so lovely. Your best friend's birthday, and you really hope he enjoys it. That is definitely a simcha to celebrate. So we are so excited to share all of these smachot together, all of these very, very happy occasions. And we also want to welcome everyone for whom it is their very first time at Temple Shari Tefillah. So if it is your first time here, can you please raise your hand? I think we have a lot of people in our sanctuary. Wow. So if it is not your first time here, please look around the room and be sure to welcome everyone whose first time it is. We want to make sure that you know we always love having you, especially our group from Los Altos, right? So happy to have you guys. Welcome to our community. We're thrilled to have you. And if it is your first time here, you are welcome. Come back anytime. We're so happy that you're here to celebrate Shabbat with us. It is now my pleasure to invite up Michelle Sharandi. Michelle is one of our social justice leaders at Temple Shari Tefillah, and she has been an incredible partner over the past year and a half since I've been here, and has really made tonight happen for Repro Shabbat. So I'm going to pass it over to Michelle to introduce our speaker.
Thank you. As some of you may know, since 2019, I was lucky enough to work on our Reproductive Justice Task Force with Lois Nyren. She is deeply missed tonight, but I know she would be so thrilled that we're going to learn more about the Bridget Alliance. In January 2020, Lois and I were introduced to the Bridget Alliance, an organization based in New York City that helps provide people seeking abortions with travel, food, lodging, childcare, and other crucial support. We were incredibly impressed with the Bridget Alliance, and we're lucky to have one of its founders speak to our congregants before the pandemic. I had no idea at that time how crucial the Bridget Alliance's work would become for so many people in this country who face financial and logistical barriers getting an abortion. With the dissolution of federal protections for abortion, many people are being forced to travel long distances for abortions, and the Bridget Alliance makes it possible for them to have access to this essential health care. This year, the Shari Justice Team will continue working to ensure the protection of fundamental reproductive rights, including to help pass the Equal Rights Amendment, which will be on the New York State ballot in November. That measure will enshrine the right to an abortion in the New York Constitution. I'm so grateful that Sarah Moeller is here to share more about the Bridget Alliance. Sarah is the Senior Director of External Relations of the Bridget Alliance. Prior to joining the Bridget Alliance, she worked at a national organization dedicated to improving schools for LGBTQ youth and on a campaign to end marriage equality for same-sex couples. Sarah also served on the board of directors of SAFER, an organization dedicated to combating sexual violence on college campuses. She's also volunteered at an abortion clinic as an escort and serves on her district's board of education. She's going to speak for a few minutes about the Bridget Alliance, and then we'll answer some questions.
Thank you so much, Michelle, and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. My name is Sarah. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Senior Director of External Relations at the Bridget Alliance. Thank you so much for having me here. I know some of you may have heard from Lenore, one of our co-founders, several years ago, and I'm so glad to be back now. The Bridget Alliance is what's referred to as a practical support organization. It differs from other abortion funds that you might be familiar with because we arrange and pay for all of the travel and logistical needs of our clients, but do not cover the cost of abortion procedures themselves. We are unique because we operate nationally, and we specialize in supporting abortion seekers who are 15 weeks or beyond in their gestation, for whom accessing abortion care is especially challenging. The Bridget Alliance was founded 5 years ago because even before the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, nearly 90% of counties in the United States did not have a single abortion provider. For decades, many people weren't able to access their abortions due to legal, financial, logistical, and circumstantial barriers. In the years after Roe technically legalized abortion, the Hyde Amendment was passed, and states implemented gestational limits, absurd clinical requirements, parental involvement laws, waiting periods, and more to make it nearly impossible for abortion seekers to get care, especially those who are already marginalized in our society: women in poverty, minors, women of color, those living in communities with limited transportation infrastructure, LGBTQ folks, immigrants and refugees, disabled people, survivors of abuse, and people who rely on Medicaid or are uninsured. Our service was designed to help later abortion seekers overcome as many barriers as possible. We start by partnering with clinics and providers who specialize in all-trimester abortion care, and when a provider identifies that travel or logistical needs will be a barrier to the person getting to their appointment, they connect the patient with us. We're in touch with our clients within 24 to 48 hours of when the referral is made. We complete a standardized intake, and then the client is assigned to one of our coordinators. Our coordinators work with our clients to create a completely customized itinerary that accounts for everything from local transportation, long distance travel, overnight accommodations, meals, childcare, and whatever else it's going to take to help our client get to their appointment. We've paid for temporary cell phones, car repairs, cold weather clothing, and are really flexible in the type of services that we can provide. Our coordinators are in touch with clients from the time that they're referred throughout their travel and until they return home safely. Our clients travel from all 50 states and beyond, with more than 2/3 traveling from the South. 70% are Black, Indigenous, or other people of color. 30% are already parents, and they range in age from 10 to 53 years old. They travel an average of 1,300 miles round trip, and our average cost per itinerary is $2,300. Since our founding 5 years ago, over which time we have seen the long-feared worst-case scenario come true, the journey to an abortion provider has grown even more treacherous. And unfortunately, but not surprisingly, people with lower incomes have been disproportionately affected by state-level bans. But when Roe fell, the Bridget Alliance was ready because we were built exactly for this crisis. Since the Dobbs ruling, the average distance our clients travel has increased by 30%, and in the last 18 months, more than 20 states have completely or nearly banned all abortion care. The legal environment for abortion has in fact become so precarious that maternity wards and reproductive health care centers are shuttering, leaving pregnant people in many regions of the country unable to get timely or trustworthy information about the health or gestation of their pregnancies, and leaving the providers that are protecting abortion access significantly overburdened. In the same time, the Bridget Alliance has partnered with dozens of new providers and increased our capacity to serve clients by 55%. Even with longer distances to travel and inflated transportation and food costs, our commitment to think holistically about each person we need to support is unwavering, and the Bridget Alliance is determined to grow and meet the needs of this moment. While there are many similarities among our clients, each case we work on is unique, and I'd like to share a recent story to help demonstrate the depth of our work. I'll say up front that I'll be referring to the client as Mary, but that is an alias. Last month, one of our coordinators was assigned a case where the client had such significant barriers that at first even they weren't sure how traveling was going to be possible. The client was experiencing housing insecurity and substance abuse, was traveling from a severely restricted state, had suicidal ideation because of the pregnancy, and didn't have a cell phone. Mary was traveling from Florida at 19 weeks gestation to New York City to be seen at our partner clinic, New York City Health and Hospitals in Harlem. Mary's mother was very supportive and purchased her daughter a cell phone in order to ensure we could reliably communicate, which allowed us to complete our intake and get a better understanding of the barriers that Mary faced. However, Mary's mother couldn't travel with her, and the clinic required a companion. So our coordinators contacted our partners at the Haven Coalition here in New York to secure a volunteer to accompany Mary to her appointment. And then we arranged all of the remaining necessary details to help Mary and her volunteer companion get to her appointment and back home. Flights, hotel, and a stipend for meals and comfort items. Mary and her mother expressed gratitude to Bridget, the Haven Coalition, and the New York City Health and Hospital System for the compassionate and thoughtful care they received. They said that they could not have imagined that organizations or people and groups like ours existed simply to serve Mary and people like her, to get them to the care that they needed. We're able to provide such high quality, customized care thanks to our supporters, and it will take all of our ongoing commitment to ensure that the ever increasing number of abortion seekers who are forced to travel for care are able to. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share this with all of you and would love to take a couple of questions, if you have any. We've grown a lot since, so the question was how many people do we support in a year? In our last year, we supported about 1,800 people. We're serving about 140 each month currently. Yes?
Primary source of funding.
The question is, what is our primary source of funding? Individual support. Lots of individuals who are giving through family foundations or donor-advised funds, but that is our primary revenue income. We are supported by some of the traditional institutional funders, but the legal landscape is really challenging for some institutions. They're afraid of exposing themselves to potential liability. Yeah. The question is, do we use volunteers, and if so, how? The Bridget Alliance does not, because we work entirely remotely with our clients. We do partner with organizations that have volunteers. So in New York, that is the Haven Coalition. Yes? I think the question is, how do people become aware of our services? Excuse me. We are referral based, so most people are connected to us by the clinic once they make their appointment. But 5% of our clients do find us on their own, which is really important because there are many people for whom, if they can't fathom how they're going to travel out of state, are not going to bother making their appointment.
How large is your staff?
Right now, our staff is 19 or 20. That is more than double what it was before the Dobbs ruling. And we will be adding 6 to 8 in the next year. Yeah.
What's your annual budget?
Our fiscal year runs October 1 to September 30. And so our budget in the year that ended in September 2023 was just under $7 million. And this year we're projecting a total expense of $10 million. Those are in the years following the Dobbs ruling. The ruling came down in June 2022, which was Q3 of that fiscal year, and we spent $3 million that year, to give you a sense of how the ruling has affected the demand for our services and our ability to meet that demand. Let me go over here. The question is, are we in touch with people who seek our services after we've helped them get back home? Mostly no, currently, and that is largely due to the way that we manage privacy and security for our clients. So our database automatically deletes all contact information after 30 days. We are in the process of growing a program that will, within that time period, help us reach out to clients to get some feedback on our service, as well as welcome testimonials and allow people to opt in for opportunities to share their stories. There are some people who have who outside of working with Bridget have become really public in sharing their stories and will connect with us that way as well. I saw a question over here and then one over here. There was one over here, yes. We do not have to turn people away because of budget. We do occasionally have to, I won't say turn people away, but are not able to serve certain people due to capacity. We just don't have enough staff time available, which is why we need to hire more. However, if we do have to tell somebody that we can't accept their referral at a given time, we may be able to support them if they reschedule their appointment for the following week, or we will reimburse them for the costs if they have to pay out of pocket initially.
You said that you pay for everything except the abortion.
Yeah.
So who pays for the abortion?
Yeah, so the National Abortion Federation is the largest funding organization of procedure costs, and they have member clinics, and so they work with, I think, all of the same clinics that we do, and so people will qualify for funding from the National Abortion Federation, and if that doesn't cover the costs, there are local and regional abortion funds that will make up the remainder. So in New York, there is the New York Abortion Access Fund, which is currently spending at least $10,000 or $25,000 a month, I think, on procedure costs.
Do we have one or two last questions?
Yeah. The top 3 states from which we serve clients are Texas, Florida, and Georgia. New York and California are also in our top 10. That is in part due to how populous they are and also how large they are, because we have clients who need to travel from rural areas of the state to urban areas, and also a lack of providers, even in states like New York and California that people perceive as generally welcome to abortion care. There just are not enough providers available. And so depending on timing, someone may be forced to travel.
One last.
The question is whether our staff have been threatened. I don't believe so. Most of our staff are not public. You can't find their information. Even in their internal emails, we only use their first names. They're only myself, the executive director, and the director of client services ever do any kind of public-facing work, any media work. And we work with an organization called the Digital Defense Fund, which exists exclusively to help protect abortion workers. And through them, we have recommended policies that we've adopted to ensure security of our staff, things around technology like VPN setup. Everybody on staff has a delete me account, so you can't find my home address if you Google me, kind of stuff. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all very much.
I want to say thank you so much to Sarah for being here, and thank you so much for the very, very important work that you are doing. Again, Sarah works for the Bridget Alliance, and I invite you to go on their website, take a look at what they're doing. If you feel so compelled to give a donation to their work, and Also, just so you know, the National Council of Jewish Women is celebrating Repro Shabbat all around the country. So there are hundreds of congregations that are celebrating Reproductive Justice Shabbat this Shabbat. So I also invite you to check out the NCJW, the National Council of Jewish Women. They have lots of different resources to check out of why abortion rights and reproductive rights are a Jewish value. Very important. So thank you again to Sarah.
Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember, bring me sprigs of rosemary, be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. This one knocked me to the ground, this one brought me to my knees. I should have seen it coming, but it surprised me. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember, bring me sprigs of rosemary, be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. In a state of true believers, on streets called us and them, it's gonna take some time till the world feels safe again. Will you be my refuge, my haven in the storm? Will you keep the embers warm when my fire's all but gone? Will you remember, bring me sprigs of rosemary, be my sanctuary till I can carry on, carry on, carry on. I'd like to invite up Chlorina as we continue to pray for peace in Israel to offer this piece, Samachti be'omrim li. The translation is, I rejoice when they said to me, let us go up to the house of God. Now we stand within your gates, O Jerusalem. Jerusalem built to be a city where people come together as one. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. For the sake of my people, my friends, I pray you find peace. For the sake of the house of Adonai, our God, I will seek your good.
So tradition says that when the Hebrew month of Adar enters, we should begin to rejoice. Adar is the month that we have Purim, but it's a leap year. And I love that the rabbis picked the month of Adar to have two of, right? So we should have 2 months of rejoicing. So we put off Purim and then Passover and then Shavuot and then Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. So it's going to be late this year. Actually, according to the Jewish calendar, it's going to be right on time, so don't worry. But it is Rosh Chodesh Adar number 1. And so we're going to mark that with a blessing. It's in your prayer book on page 261.
Yehi ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu shetekadesh alenu et hachodesh hazeh l'tova v'livracha v'titen lanu chayim arukim chayim shel shalom chayim shel parnasa chayim shetehevanu ahavat Torah v'yirat shamayim Chayim shimalu mishalot libenu letova. Amen. Amen. Rosh Chodesh Adar Aleph Hu Hayom.
Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new month bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah and reverence for the divine, a life in which the longings of our hearts are fulfilled for good. The new month of Adar began when the sun went down. Happy Rosh Chodesh Adar.
We continue with a special version of Aleinu that teaches us to do our part to try to make this world better. It's up to us to call ourselves to task, to sing what's good and true, to bring about redemption. It's what we were free to do. For what's the point of being here if we're not moved to change our ways? Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. We are carrying the vision of the ones who came before. What stories will be told of us when we are here no more? We commit ourselves to action. It brings meaning to our days. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. It's up to us to own the vision. We are an answer to a call. It's up to us to live the words we speak for the benefit of all. It's up to us to bow down deeply. There's a broken world to raise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise. Aleinu l'shabeach. It's time to live our praise.
When you meet someone deep in grief, slip off your needs and set them by the door. Enter barefoot this darkened chapel, hollowed by loss, hallowed by sorrow, its gray stone walls and floor. You, congregation of one, are here to listen, not to sing. Sit in the back pew, make no sound, let the candles speak. At this time, we extend our condolences to our loved ones and friends who are remembering now, loved ones who have died in recent days, recent weeks, recent months, and those who are observing a yahrzeit, the anniversary of the death of a loved one. If you hear the name of a loved one, we invite you, please, to stand in your place. This week, the congregation extends its condolences to David Casso on the death of his father, Stanley, this week. And the period of Shloshim, we remember Marcus Korenberg, father of Jean Shapiro, Judith Seed, member of our congregation, Jules Kocher, father of Eric Kocher, Stuart Cronengold, brother-in-law of Elaine Lawrence. And these whose yahrzeits, the anniversaries of their deaths, are marked at this time: Phyllis Akard, Ruth Altfest, Blossom Babbitt, Esther Leviton Barnes, Sylvia Baxt, Emily Bierman, Sheila Burson, David Kogan, Fern M. Kogan, Dorothy Cooper, Joan Dorfman, Abel Ederer, Gertrude Ederer, Edgar Meyer Fauer, Joseph M. Fink, Marilyn Finkel, Sigmund Friedman, Edith Gallitzer, Jerry Goldberg, Irving Halper, Ruth Heller,
Esther Herman, Sarah J. Jacobson, Edward Janis, Matthew M. Kaufman, Philip Kleberg, Marilyn Klinghoffer, Anna Kramer, Theodore Kramer, Arnold Kurtz, Celia Lerman, Michael Levine, Marion Levenstein, Caroline Mayer, Natalie L. Michelson, Leonard Miller, Goldie Nass, Sadie Parlevsky, John D. Phillips, Miriam Pomerantz, Lena Robbins, William Rogers.
Ann Rosenzweig, John J. Rosenzweig, Fanny J. Ross, Gussie Salzinger, Herbert Schnauer, Martha Schwartz, Jerry Solomon, Herman Sommerfeld, Freda Spice, Arthur Sultan, Selma Suskin, Dorothy Tabakin, Louis Tabbs, Harold Weiss, Nathan Winnower, Rose Peterman Winware, Byron Yaffe, and Herbert Zelenko.
If there are others that you're remembering, I invite you to rise, please, and mention your loved one's name aloud. Zichronam Libracha, may their memories live as a blessing. We remember as well those who have no one left to say Kaddish for them. In that spirit, we rise together as a community for Kaddish. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma Divrach, Yirutzeh, V'yamlich Malchuteh, V'chayechon, V'yamechon, V'chayed V'chol Beit Yisrael, Bagala V'zman Kariv, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'alam U'amei Amaya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'ar V'yitraman V'yitnaseh V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yithalal Shmei L'Kudsha B'richu Le'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Damiram Be'alma V'imru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'imramav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al Kol Yisrael Ve'al Kol Yoshvei Tevel V'imru Amen. Amen. Please be seated.
Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy, will reap in joy. Those who sow in tears will reap in joy.
I'd like to invite Michelle Sharandi to come back forward to bring greetings on behalf of the Board of Trustees of our congregation.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I want to welcome you, especially our friends from California. And I also want to tell you a little bit about a few upcoming events. This Sunday at noon, Rabbi Mosbacher will be speaking with the survivor of the Nova Festival attack on October 7th. This will be a powerful session and is recommended for those in high school or older. Advanced registration is required. I also hope you can join us on Thursday, February 29th at 7 p.m. for a conversation with Aaron Dorfman. He is the executive director of A More Perfect Union, the Jewish Partnership for Democracy. He is going to be discussing how we can work to safeguard our democracy. This talk will be a kickoff of our Shari Democracy campaign, which will be working to address critical issues confronting democracy, such as Christian nationalism and voter suppression. There is a flyer out front with more information about this important event. In addition, I encourage you to attend the Cantors Concert, which is on Sunday, March 10th at 4 p.m. The concert will feature, of course, Cantor Kipnis and our cantorial intern, Emily Lazen, and as well as our previous cantorial intern, Ella Gladstone Martin. This is a really fun event, and they'll be singing some Broadway tunes, so I encourage you to come to that. There are, of course, a number of other events, and you can learn more about them in our weekly. And finally, I want to once again thank Sarah and the Bridget Alliance. There's also a flyer out front about their work. And Shabbat Shalom. Thanks.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you to Rabbi Rubin and Michelle and others who've been a part of putting this evening together. Thanks to Kol Rina for sharing their beautiful music. Mazel Tov to Bria. A great weekend of celebration, and it's great that we could celebrate here tonight. Minyan and Torah study tomorrow as usual, and just two more things to point out, and that is that we will be celebrating happily the 90th birthday of our Rabbi Harvey Tattlebaum here on February 23rd at services, and so come and be with us. And then our next Big Tent Shabbat is coming up already on March 1st. So many things, so much joy. Make sure you meet someone new. Make sure to help welcome our friends from California when you go to the Oneg. We're going to conclude with Olam Chesed Yibana, and let's maybe stand up together and we can sing. Is that all right?
I also want to thank Maya Martinez for adding her beautiful voice to our service, who happens to be the daughter of Michelle Sharan.
Yeah, exactly.
Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yada lai lai lai, Yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yada lai lai lai, Yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, Yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. I will build this world from love, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. You must build this world from love. Yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. And if we build this world from love, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai, then God will build this world from love. Yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai. Olam Chesed Yibaneh, yada lai lai lai, yada lai lai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, friends.
finally sort of found a sound, which is good, but it's like every week it's sort of like crazy, like because Ken was very like singing charts and this is how we're going to use perception and all this stuff, and it's sort of like we have to have a lot more executive function. Like we're doing a procession, figure it out on your own. You know, that kind of that's just an example. But it's so it's like it's fine. I don't know how long I'm gonna stay, but it's good.
Thank you so much, Alison, for producing this amazing music. Our goal is to make you dance. It is. Oh, did you see me? Oh, la gente gigante.
Allison is awesome.
And I put a lot in this too.
Oh yes.
Okay, no?
You need that.
Thank you, Alison.
Allison, thank you so much.
So it's good. An adventure. Okay. Right here. So I'll see you again sometime soon. I mean, the only place I'm singing for is in here. No, I mean, usually our first, like we sing maybe 1 or 2 Sundays into June, and then it's done. And then they have soloists in the summer. No choir. Unlikely. Yeah. Yes. And I'm sort of like, trying to think beyond singing at Marvel's, like, what can I sing? And like, if it's not a professional choir, like singing somewhere, like, bad choir, like, be a volunteer, but not in a cracked choir, because I'm a choir nerd. I've been singing in choirs for 50 years, and I don't feel like I want to stop singing, but I don't want to sing somewhere where it's bad music. So get to that age. So. I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, right now I'm still at Marble, and I'm like, okay, I'll see what the young man does. I'm not auditioning for my job that I've had for 3 years. No, not really. I mean, I sing right in front of him every week, like show him he knows what I sound like. Like either it's, you want it or you don't want it. So it's all okay. But Joan said, we'll see what she does. Joan said, I'm going to do 1 more year and that's it. Okay, fine. And Joan turned 65 this year. Brian is still there. Josh is still there. We're sort of the old guard, and the rest is like the new kids. Some of them, I don't even know what their names are. They're nice. They're talented. Josh is a bass. Yeah. Yeah, he's doing well. Doing all right. It's funny because people are like, oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And it's like, I don't know. It's all about, I don't know what I want to do, but I don't want to do this anymore. And it's like, all right, if you have the resources